Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a bit different. It's more of a tutorial video than a informational video. Today I'll be showing you how I make black salt, or witch's salt, or protection salt. Most people call it black salt, so that's probably the most common term you'll find on the internet, but today's video is all about how to make it. I will be making another video later on about how to use it, like what you can do with it and stuff, and more in detail about all the different ingredients and their protective qualities. So I hope you enjoy. Before I start, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to see more content on spirituality and self-growth. Well, let's get into the video. For a basic black salt, the most important ingredients that you would need are your salts of choice. I have regular white table salt, I have pink Himalayan salt, some ashes, and some charcoal. You can get charcoal quite easily from everyday shops. This one is powdered and activated, I think. Fluoride free as well, which is even better. I also like to add some cinnamon and sometimes some black pepper just to enhance the protective qualities, but today I am only using cinnamon. You will also need somewhere to mix and crush your ingredients. I use this pestle and mortar that I found at a car boot sale, washed and cleansed before I used it for any of my works. But pestle and mortars are very easy to come by and very handy in your practice, so if you don't have one, you should get one. And then you'd also need somewhere to store your black salt once you've made them. I am probably just going to reuse one of these pots that I have on hand, and I also like to cleanse all of my ingredients before I start. So I'm using a bundle out of sage and a flame. So I will light my sage and start cleansing. So remember when you're doing this to open your window to allow all the smoke and the negative energy to be released. I have a more in-depth video about cleansing your tools where I talk about smoke cleansing and the importance of it and basically what you're supposed to do. So I'm just putting out my sage now and opening my window so that all the smoke can be released out of my space. Now let's get into the actual mixing part. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is start with all my harder ingredients, all the things that might take a while to crush and need to spend more time on. I like to keep my black salt more of a table salt powdery kind of consistency. Some people prefer them to have more of a rock salt consistency, but it's just a personal preference. It doesn't take it away from how protective your salt is or the things you can do with it. It's basically just a personal preference. So I start off by crushing my rock salt, my pink Himalayan salt, pour some in my pestle and mortar and start grinding away. I like to do this in a circular motion, going clockwise to draw in positive energy, and I do this while keeping in mind my intention of protecting and drawing in goodness, not allowing anything negative to come into the salt, or as I am using this to protect my house, I will be keeping in mind that I don't want anything to cross into my home, like across my line of black salt. So always keep your intention in your head, and you can say it out loud if you want, or whatever you feel comfortable doing. Just always keep your intention in your mind as you are doing your workings. Okay, so this is the consistency that I'm looking for, mostly powdery like I said. I don't really mind if there's any reasonable lumps in there, but nothing too major. It's just easier for me to spread around and distribute. Next, I like to add in my ash. I grind my ash and my salt first because sometimes there is small chunks of charcoal or wood that also needs to be ground down. Pink salt draws in a lot of protection and self-love and just all-round goodness, which everyone needs. And the ash can be made from literally anything that you can burn. That can be different woods, flowers, plants, herbs, mixes of spice, resin, incense, petals of roses, anything that can be burnt you can make into ash. So you can pick your ash specifically based on the properties of the things you're burning. So for example, I know everything in my ash pot has been burnt from incense, herbs, petitions, flowers, everything that represents protection and drawing in good energies and things that will help me manifest my wants in the near future. And this will all be mixed into my black salt, and then it will amplify all of the properties that my ashes represent. So I'm just going to pour some of that in here. As you can see, there are some bigger lumps and pieces of petitions and bay leaves that are in here that need to be crushed down. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Just be careful when you're grinding your ash, because your ash will be more of a powdered consistency. You might get some in your face and your lungs, so if you have respiratory problems, please protect yourself and wear masks. Even if you don't, it might make you cough and sneeze, so just be careful. As you do this, you'll notice that the salt and the ash will start to mix together, and you just keep going until you're happy with the consistency. I'm quite happy with how it looks now, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my ingredients. As I mentioned before, salt is a very good absorber of negative energy and acts as a protection. Oh, you can see my pot getting full. I then add some charcoal. Charcoal is also very good at absorbing negative energy and adds to the black colour of your black charcoal. And cinnamon is also a protective spice. So everything here that I'm adding has to do with protection and all the good things that I want to draw in from the universe. At this point, you don't really need to use your grinding techniques anymore, because you've got it mostly to the consistency that you want, and everything else is just a powder. So you could use your pestle and mortar to keep grinding down, but especially if your pot is getting full, like mine, it's best if you use a spoon or a stick or something to simply stir your ingredients in. And you just keep stirring and stirring until everything is well combined and produces a dark grey black colour. Depending on how much other ingredients you've added, it might turn a little bit brown, but that's alright. That's really, again, personal preference, the amount of things that you want to add. The little flakes you can see in my salt is paper that's been burnt. It's petitions of things that I want for the new year, protective sigils, and just things that will protect me and my home, and the things that I want for the next year to come. At the moment of filming, it is New Year's Day, and I will be sprinkling these outside just before I go to bed to basically seal my intentions for the next year. I usually do this on New Year's Eve, crossing into New Year's Day, so over midnight on New Year's, but this can really be done any time of the year, depending on what your intentions are for it. As you can see, the salt has been mixed in thoroughly and everything is at the right consistency, it's more of a powdery texture, and it's ready to be contained. If you want your salt to have more depth in colour, you want it to be darker, you can add some more charcoal or more ash. If you want it lighter, you can add some more salt. If you want it more brown, you can add cinnamon or any other protective herbs or sigils or anything you want. And when you're happy with it, you can contain it, seal it, and use it whenever you're ready. That's all I've got for the video today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before I go, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to keep up to date on all of my spirituality and self-growth videos. Don't forget to check in the description box below for all my socials and other links you might find interesting. I have links to my website, which has a blog, some of my photography work, and a shop on there. And there's also a link to my Etsy shop, where I sell some other spiritual things, like wax melts and spell jars. Really hope you liked this video. Stay safe, stay happy. I love you all. Bye.